Podcast. My name is Jerome, and I am joined by my brother
Joseph.
And this is going to become a weekly show for us where we are going to be talking about different things such as life, our world, and the things that we have learned over many years of failure, triumph, and success. Today, I figured it was a good place to start since we're starting new from our beginnings because we had a very interesting childhood. I would personally, and you could talk about this in a bit here. I would say the best way to describe our childhood would be chaotic, uncertain, and unusual. Would you add anything to that?
Well, I would only say definitely a humble,
Yeah.
a humbling growing up. I would definitely put it that way.
Yeah, in many ways, we didn't have much.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't have anything. I remember not having a lot at all.
Yeah, we were pretty broke.
Yeah,
we were trailer broke.
Yep.
Not that there's anything wrong with
absolutely not.
So if I remember, like there's been numerous times that I would live in a trailer again.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the cost of living in a trailer is cheap, so.
Yeah. But the biggest issue we had in our past, besides being broke, was within our family was our parents.
Yeah. I love both my parents, but yeah, that was definitely a hardship while we were growing up as kids.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since I was 6. You were how old when we left him?
I want to say 9. I don't really remember. It so long ago. It might have been 10. It's been a long time though.
You know a lot more about Dad than I do because I was
Yeah.
really young. I know he was an alcoholic, and I've been told he was abusive, but I never really.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, he was definitely abusive. He was very physical with me. I remember being, I want to say, 4 or 5 years old after my mom and dad had gotten arguing. I think they were just gotten done arguing about something, and he had been drinking, and I remember him getting mad at me for something I didn't do and being tossed. I mean, physically thrown from one room to another.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a rough environment to grow up in, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I mean, we left. Our mom obviously did divorce him at one point, because it's just not. I didn't get to see a lot of that stuff. I did see the alcohol. You'd never forget the smell.
Oh.
Not to mention the cigarettes. Like that stuff lingers.
Yeah.
But what would you say, in your opinion, and I'll have one after you're done, what would you say are the biggest effects that have lingered from a relationship with our dad?
So I'll give two perspectives. I'll give the negative first. Negative side is not having that father influence to kind of guide me and to show me how to be a good father, a good husband to my now beautiful family I have today. Kind of guide me through life, like what to do, how to do it when I was a teenager. Just learning how to drive, how to do those things that get you ready to be an adult.
Yeah.
That stuff I really did not get to grow up and learn from a father being there. Just teaching me work ethic would have been a huge thing too. On the positive, though, I will give a positive to him, not for everything he did do in my life. He did, by his actions of abuse and alcoholism and not trying to be a good father, showed me what not to do. So I am now happily married and have 2 kids. And I know not to do those things because I know the pain that came with it.
Yeah.
I know to love and respect my kids and to treat my wife with the most amount of respect possible. I mean, as you know, Jerome, she is like my best friend. I mean, we love each other so much. So, I mean, that is a positive that came out of the hardship of not having our father there. So.
Yeah, and I think she's receptive to you so much because she didn't have a lot growing up either.
No, she grew up not as hard as we did,
Right.
obviously. She had both of her parents, and they were there for her, and they did help put her on a good path. So, but yeah, I mean, she had 5 other sisters, so it was not an easy upbringing either.
Yeah, but I would say one of the biggest things that kind of lingered for me was, I mean, obviously not growing up with a dad, you're looking for that. You're looking for some kind of example or something that you want to attach to.
Yeah.
But the hardest part for me that lingered is the fact that I kept constantly telling myself I'm not worthy of being called a son because this man doesn't want to take the steps it was, even though that might not be the case. Like, we only know the other half of the story. We don't know where he's at nowadays. He could be a completely different person, but when I would see complete families, it was hard,
Oh yeah.
especially at Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Like, there were some Christmases we didn't have anything.
Oh yeah. I trust me, I remember those.
Yeah, and like mostly what we had was just each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, and but I would go as far as to say, like, it made me long to know what that felt like. Like, know what does it mean to be a father? Like, what does it mean to be a complete family? Obviously, you know that because you're raising one.
Yeah.
And it's vastly different. It's a difficult thing to go through.
Yeah.
But it doesn't just fall on his shoulders either.
Yeah.
Because now we have the situation with our mother, and she went through a lot of stresses. Obviously, any abusive relationship's going to leave marks.
Oh yeah.
And we've talked about it numerous times about our mother and the mental complications that's created. But I don't know if she completely understands that it affects more than just her. Because growing up, like, when did we ever see her?
Yeah, I was we didn't see her a lot, but I know she had a lot of mental struggles from being abused by her dad. So yeah, and they obviously still linger today. She still struggles with things. So
And, like, a lot of what we didn't see, a lot of part of the, I would say the biggest reason why we didn't see her very often, she was in her own world, but also the best wage she could get at the time was overnight. She was working third shift. She would be working on the house or whatever she was doing while we were at school.
yeah.
And then we'd get home and she'd try and sleep.
Yeah, yeah, actually, I remember when we first moved from Colorado to Wisconsin. Part of that reason we did move here to Wisconsin is because there was more opportunity here in Wisconsin.
Well, yeah.
There's family to help us get on our feet finally after struggling for years and years and years of having nothing.
Right.
She just couldn't take it anymore. She needed some kind of support system. So we came here to Wisconsin. We had family, and then obviously within months she was able to get a good job here.
Yeah.
And I know probably at the time she didn't feel like it was a good job. It's not what she wanted to do, but she was able to provide, which is essential. You know, I mean, she had struggled so long, so hard for so many years just to bring in whatever she could to take care of us, and she finally came to Wisconsin. She was able to do that. So.
And even though she wasn't present through a lot of things because she was doing what she needed to do, there was a lot of chaos. Obviously, we created a lot of chaos.
Yeah, we were the problem. We were the problem, not our mom.
Well, because we had no control. Like, there was no control in the house.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's hard. It's hard just for a single parent, but you're a single parent with 3 boys and you're working night shift.
Yeah.
Chaos is going to happen.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
And I think she kind of got used to that, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would go out on a limb and say I think she did get used to it, but she had no help and no guide to get her out.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part. Had our father been there, might not have gone through all that stuff. Now, I guess like I said, the good side of that is, we have a better life today.
Well, yeah.
We might have been stuck in our ruts had we stayed in Colorado and had no support system and had no opportunity like we do now.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and you're choosing to see the brighter side of the situation, but, like, the hard lingering for her is that she continues to persist, separate.
Yeah, I think she is still stuck. I know she because
I would say it's partly because she doesn't know how to handle it any other way.
yeah, and too, I still it, she's still suffering from bipolar,
Right.
um, which is not an easy mental disease to deal with. It's obviously we've seen it tear her apart
Yeah.
over so many years, and it's so sad to watch because there's nothing we can do.
Right.
I think that's what hurts the most is she's her own person, and as much as you want to help someone, you can only do so much, and if they say no,
Right.
you can't force them to do anything. That's what hurts. And I mean, it's a good thing because you don't want to tell anyone what to do. I mean, um, but it's sad too because you can't help them. You want to help them, but our mom is in a situation now where she's closed the doors to our help, and I get it because we're her kids, and she's saw hardships that we'll never understand. So she knows better in her mind, and she's trying to do the best what she can for herself. But yeah, seeing her struggle with so many aspects of what she's gone through, it's hard because we can't help. We've tried.
Yeah, we've tried to reach to her a lot, and the grandkids want to see her, and family wants to be with her, but it's kind of gotten so much to a point. Well, it's better. I would say it's better these days than when we were living with her because it was an added stress because not just because she had all that compiled and then she was providing
Yeah.
for a family
Yeah.
at the same token.
Yeah, dealing with an abusive husband, trying to provide and take care of 3 kids, and then also provide with our father on her minimum wage salary.
Yeah.
That good luck, and being abused every day. I mean, I don't know how she did it. I always reflect. I don't know how she did it.
Well, I can tell you from what when I saw, she broke down a lot.
Yeah, and as any normal person would.
Right.
I can tell you if that was our situation with me and my wife and our kids, I would be a pile of junk on the floor.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. So our mom is one of the strongest people we have probably ever known because of the struggles she fought through and continues on the mental side.
And she didn't have the support that
she did not.
And it's kind of interesting through that though, like even though she didn't have that support, what became our support was each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. We gosh, man, we weren't even teenagers. Like I wasn't even a teenager when we really started trying to take care of each other. Because I think when we first came here to Wisconsin, I was 14. I was a teenager, but you guys weren't.
No.
So you guys were. I think you were 10 or 11.
I was 11.
Yeah, you were 11, and then Abraham was
9.
9. Yeah. So, and we kind of had to learn on the go.
Yeah.
But no, it was. We were forced to grow up. It's just kind of what it was. And not to say that our hardship is any worse than anyone else's, but it was.
But I mean, having nothing.
Oh yeah, having nothing definitely
taught us a lot.
Taught us a ton.
And the biggest thing I would say it taught us is how to enjoy life with nothing.
Oh gosh, yes, I would definitely say that is 100% true.
Yeah, because you've seen the notes. I brought up the things that we made up when we were kids. Like we played hockey with a soda can, and we'd be in that parking lot for hours.
Yeah, we would. I remember we used to flip over the shopping carts
that were there.
Yeah, we'd tip them over on their front so that they would be face down like a hockey goal.
Yeah.
Because where we grew up in Denver, we had a Safeway right around the corner, and Safeway would let us bring the cart back to our neighborhood so we could drop off groceries because not a lot of people in our neighborhood had cars. It was just we didn't have any money, so. But yeah, we'd tip over the grocery cart and lock up the flap. And we would play hockey with those tipped over and at aluminum can.
I think there was one time though they told us not to bring it back because we broke one, like we shattered that one. Like
Yeah, maybe.
because we were falling on it, running into it.
Yeah.
It was pretty damaged. They couldn't use it anymore. Said you guys can have it.
Yeah. And then too, not just hockey. I forgot we used to play baseball
Yeah.
with a
In the big field.
Yeah, with a tennis ball and a branch.
Yeah.
Whatever branch we could find from a tree that had fallen off.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that.
And whenever we would hit a home run, and a home run was on the top of someone else's roof, and
Yep.
we'd run into the house every time.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, no, that was what we did to entertain ourselves.
And when we came to Wisconsin, we did. Mom didn't have any glass things when we got older because it was gonna break.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the living room, like she used to have a coffee table until we were rolling on the couch continuously and broke it.
Yeah.
But we had this big open space because all we had was a couch and a television, so we'd play volleyball with a balloon.
Yes.
We'd be on our knees just dragging across the floor. Like we didn't think about how much it hurt then. Our knees would be like red from burn from just rug burn.
Yep.
But
balloon volleyball.
It was so much fun.
It was. Yeah, that was the positive about not having a whole lot. We got very inventive. Even
though we had our fights, we had our struggles, I would say having nothing taught us, like the three brothers, what it meant to be a family.
Yeah, we had to take care of each other.
Yeah, we were our own entertainment.
We literally were, while our mom was trying to do the best she could to take care of us. So, yeah, we didn't have a choice. I mean, it was school and then come home and take care of because we had to clean the house.
Yeah, and cook the food.
And then entertain ourselves after that. So.
Yeah, it didn't take us much. I mean, obviously, we ended up getting into some video games.
Yeah.
We played. We used to play a lot of WWF. WCW NWO Revenge.
Yes,
a lot.
I think that was our first major video game. We actually got together with friends and played, wasn't it?
No, Mortal Kombat was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, but I mean the competitive nature of.
Well, yeah.
The competitive nature of that game, WCW NWO Revenge, was just. That was so much fun. We would get together and play together. We'd have like a group of.
I still remember.
Yeah, we'd have like 8 people, 9 people in our living room sometimes, or in someone else's house that had the game.
I always played Dr. Death.
Yeah, I can't remember who I was.
You were probably like Sting or something. You were a big Sting fan.
I was a huge Sting fan. I still actually am a huge Sting fan.
And Abe was a huge Kevin Nash fan.
Oh, yeah, he was.
He was Wolfpack all the way.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, those were good. Good moments. And that was when we came to Wisconsin. So
I just chose the most random looking dude that existed in the game because that's when THQ was making random characters for a serious game.
Yeah, that was fun.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was definitely a bright spot in our childhood.
Yeah.
Hello, listener. I just wanted to stop you for a second in the middle of the episode to let you know that I am also on YouTube at Push Forward Podcast at YouTube. Go ahead and, if you can't listen on Spotify, you can always listen to it there, so you can listen to it anywhere that you want to. And I will be putting some other stuff up on there, hopefully once a week, little sermons, little different things. So come on over and enjoy the show.
So transitioning on, growing up in that kind of lifestyle, obviously my life's different, Abe's life's different. What would you say are the biggest differences now for your kids and your family and you than in comparison to how we grew up?
Well, compared to how we grew up, I've been able to provide a better life for my kids, obviously, for my wife. Obviously, I'm there for my beautiful wife as much as I can be. I try to be her rock as much as I can. Obviously, I'm always there to educate my kids, to guide them to become who they want to be. Obviously, I can't tell them who they want to be, and I obviously don't encourage any parents to tell them tell their kids what to be. I encourage them to become who they want to be. all the time, which is huge because then it's empowering.
Right. But it's also with a lot of strict. Well,
It
not,
is,
not
with-
strict, but harsh guidelines.
Harsh guidelines. That is absolutely. I mean, they are kids. they don't know how to be adults. You have to train them. So I don't allow them to go and do stupid things. No, that's not allowed in my house.
Right.
I don't allow them to talk back. That is a no-no in my house.
And just for reference, everyone, he's got a teenager right now.
Yes, I do. I don't allow them to do whatever they feel they should be doing. If I see something that I totally disagree with or is wrong, I definitely tell my children no.
Yeah.
That did not exist in our house. Obviously, Mom was gone. She was either sleeping or working, so there was no reign on what we could and couldn't do. So we did whatever we wanted. So obviously, knowing that I had the freedom to do whatever I want as a teenager was not good. You know, I had no guidelines to how to be a good person. So, yeah, I have strict guidelines with my kids.
Well, yeah.
So,
And I would also say, I would go a step further and say that we all have something. Me, you, and Abe, we all have something now that we didn't have growing up. We had a direction of goals.
oh yeah, 100%.
And not only do you have it for yourself, but you have it for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the benefit of having your wife there with you who shares in those.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
And like how big of a difference is that for your kids? Because I mean, we didn't have much. Your kids have so much in comparison.
Yeah, I it's a good thing and a bad thing. So I realize now. Well, I can't say. So my daughter is. I know she's 15.
Yeah.
So she's going through some changes and stuff. She doesn't realize how good she's got it.
Right.
So, like, I think she struggles.
You're being humble with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, she definitely struggles with having to work on things to become who she wants to be. And I'm constantly having to tell her, sweetie pie, when you turn 18, you're on your own. You have to take care of yourself. I can't continue to guide you to the extremes I'm guiding you currently. So I want you to try to become more independent every day with us here.
Right.
Because you can make mistakes now and recover from them because you're 15. When you're 18, that's a whole lot harder. I mean, you're still young, so you do have the benefit of not having a lot of responsibility yet. But if you can do that now, do it now. Whereas my son, he's like, yep, I get it, Dad. I get it. I just do it. And he just does it. And
Yeah.
it's cool as a parent. You can see the two different personalities of my kids. Because my son is just like, yes, sir. That's basically what he is. He's a yes, sir kind of person.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to do this, you need this. Okay, Dad. And that's it. And whereas my when I was like, why? Why do I gotta? Why? It's just why? I was like,
I don't want to listen to anybody.
Sweetie pie, just trust me. I've been through this for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Just trust me on this. So.
And it's like, I brought up the idea of goals because you don't just do that for yourself. You don't just do that for your family. I've personally seen this. You've done it with other people at work. Like, for example, one of your coworkers, Matt, you helped him realign his investments.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. You've helped other people with their investments because you want to see, like, you've always had the mindset of, I don't want anyone to have to work until they're dead. You want them to be able to enjoy their life at some point.
Yeah. So yeah, you're totally right, Jerome. I know I need to be more careful when it comes to giving people advice when it comes to finances. I know I need to be, because I'm not pro.
Right.
I didn't, not.
But their
I'm
investment...
I'm self-educated, basically.
But he showed me
yeah.
the difference.
Yeah.
Like, he was just letting it willy-nilly do whatever it wanted,
Yeah,
and then
no.
you gave him a direction.
That's true. So that is true. I helped a friend at work. I looked at his 401k. I was very blessed that he let me look at his 401k. So he just trusted the company to invest for him, and I have over the last 20 years self-educated myself on finance, and I looked at his 401k and I was just horrified because in 3 years what he had put into mutual funds was horrible. I mean, I just could not believe it. He had basically made no money in 3 years, and he had put a lot of money in. I was so sad. I guided him. I said, you want to look at good mutual funds with good companies in them, and he was invested in, I want to say, in like 30 different things.
Right.
That's totally not necessary because a good mutual fund will have multiple companies in it.
Right.
Focus on the quality, not the quantity. And he had so many quantity of things. I'm like, you don't do that.
Right.
A good mutual fund will have a lot of good companies in it. So focus on the quality mutual funds. And as soon as he made the shift, I think he tripled his. I want to say he tripled his growth,
returns.
his returns. So I'm not a financial professional
Advisor,
in any way, okay? But I would definitely say you need to really educate yourself.
Yeah.
And that does come from, like you said, I care about people. We suffered so much as kids. I know we can't express how much we suffered
Right.
on here, but we suffered, so I never want to see anyone suffer like that again.
Right.
Never. And I remember because our mom was a waitress growing up as kids. And anyone who's been a waitress or a waiter or have been in food service, as you can speak to, Jerome, it's hard work. It is hard work, and they don't get paid a lot. And I'm not saying anything about the pay, but I have no problem today tipping waiters, waitresses, bussers, fair tips. I have no problem because I know the pain that they go through. So,
Right.
And that's hard. So.
Yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to bring up, because you went when you were out on your own for the first time. Would you say like the first like 8 years, 9 years, or something like that was some of the most difficult financial?
Yeah, I moved out right when I was 18.
Right.
I think I graduated in May and September, like literally months after I was 18. I think, it was in September. I moved out on my own. I think my mom had enough.
Yeah.
My mom had enough. I had enough of listening to the rules. She was right. It's her house, her rules. So I had enough of living under her rules. So I got out, and it was the best thing she did for me. I had to grow up and be an adult immediately.
Right.
I had Kelly, my wife, living with me so she could finish school in Walworth, and her twin sister living with me, and I was the only provider. So I got a crash course immediately into adulthood. Mm-hmm. So, and I appreciated so much later, not as I was going through it, the lessons that taught me. We were living, I was working a lot of hours and providing. So, and that was hard. That was very hard. But because I didn't have any guidance
right.
from being a teenager and kids, I didn't know how to handle money, and so we had to do it the hard way and learn on the go.
Right.
And it took a long, long time to get that corrected because we started accumulating debt more than we could afford. Yeah, and me and Kelly had faced bankruptcy. I mean, that was much, much later, of course, but we had faced losing our home and bankruptcy close a few times and never got there, but those lessons changed our lives forever. So.
Yeah, so much so that you're planning on being done, is it this year or next year?
So, yeah, I know this is crazy to talk about because
right.
where I started a couple years ago. We had $140,000 in total debt. That's including our house. And we paid everything off last year for debt outside the house.
Right.
Which is a great feeling. I have peace in my house now.
Yeah.
I don't have to stress. Like, I don't have anyone controlling me. I can do anything whenever I want. I make more than enough now. But yeah, the goal is this year to pay my house off.
Yeah.
That is an ambitious goal. I'm not gonna lie, because I think at the end of this month I'll owe $65,000 on our house, which is amazing to think about. That I only owe $65,000 because I know there's so many people out there who are working on their house trying to get it paid off, and they have a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand that. But yeah, the goal is to pay it down. I don't make that much money a year, so. But I do try to grind as much as I can at work and do whatever I can outside of work to raise money. So I am hoping, it is my goal to pay off the house this year.
Yeah, and I wanted you to bring that up for a couple reasons, because like where we went from and where we are now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, I'm in debt too, but I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
I'm making every financial decision to prep for it as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I still owe quite a bit in student loans.
Yeah.
I think the last I checked, because I let it accrue too much, was $62,000.
Yeah.
But that's not an overwhelming number for me anymore, because it set goals, set time, like spending time investing and paying attention to those things.
Yeah.
That's vastly different than how we were.
Yeah. So I got a question for you now that I'm thinking about that. Would you have still made the same decision to go to college and rack up the same amount of debt had you had guidance there for that?
I would say the fact that I went helped me understand what I needed to do.
Okay.
I don't like to sit there. I'm not someone that likes to say, "Oh, I wouldn't,"
Right.
because I'm just as much. I care about people just as much as myself going into debt.
Right.
If I didn't go, I wouldn't have a lot of the unique friendships and my family in Christ
Right.
that I had gained if I
Right.
didn't.
Yeah,
But I mean, financially,
right.
I paid too much.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's where I was going. Like, maybe could you have saved up money to help pay for it?
I worked
instead of getting
throughout-
loans.
I worked throughout college.
Well, right, but let's say you knew you were 15 and you were going to college and you had someone there to guide you to save up money to pay for college.
Right.
Would have turned out different, in your opinion.
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I would have had something to look at.
Yeah, you would have. I don't think you would have this huge lead foot, kind of holding your finances back today.
Right.
Not that your finances are horrible. I'm not saying that, but you would have a lot more freedom.
It's an added stress.
It's an added stress, exactly. So yeah, I think that would have been Anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm totally fine with that, because I mean, it's not just about you.
Right.
We're talking about how we are now in comparison to what we were, because we didn't have any direction when we were growing up. And now, not only are we providing direction for ourselves, but we're providing it for other people.
Yeah, I definitely try as much as I can. The suffering we went through as kids was painful.
Right.
I don't want to talk to Mom about it because
We don't know how deep that wound is.
I don't want to make it worse. So,
Right.
but it definitely was hard, and I never want to see anyone go through what we went through.
Right.
Especially the abuse side. The abuse side was the worst part. But the financial side definitely was hard, and I don't want to ever see anyone.
And I would say, Evan, your son,
Mhm.
is the way he is because he sees what you do,
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I do talk about financial things all the time.
and he's interested.
He's extremely interested, yeah. So, I mean, we talk about it. We talk about this stuff all the time. So, I mean, my son is turning 13. I can't believe that. Turning 13, I mean, he's already invested in stocks.
Deeper voice than us.
Yes, he does. But yeah, he's already invested in stocks here. He has a savings account. He gets his checking account this year. We've already educated both of our kids on how to handle a debit card and how to take care of life. I mean, obviously we're not there where they know how to do everything, but we are trying to teach them to be adults as best as they can. And yeah, like I said, he'll have his own checking account, and he's always talking to me every week, like, Dad, I made this much money off Verizon stock. I'm like, so I'm really proud.
Right.
You know, that
Because he's paying attention.
he's paying attention. that's so huge because we don't, as a nation, we don't encourage our kids to try new things like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if he doesn't put another dollar into his investing, by the time he hits 18, it will be way more worth than what had he had just put it in the bank account.
Right.
And he can do whatever he wants with that money, you know.
Right.
So and he's told me several times he's just going to keep investing into it, which is huge. And he is saving money for a car, and he is saving money for future things too, like saving a house. Because I've encouraged both my kids after going through the risk of possibly losing our house from making poor financial decisions. That was completely on me and Kelly. I'm not going to blame anyone for being in that position. For making those poor decisions, I encourage my kids to work their butts off and save as much money and buy a house in cash.
Yeah.
Because when you have that house on your own and you don't have to pay a single dollar to anyone else, the amount of freedom that comes from that,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to get there.
And it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds for your kids, because I know Evan's like, he's gung ho.
Yeah.
He wants to work.
Yeah, he does, and it's nice to see.
Right.
So because working hard that's how you get out of ruts. Is
Right.
working hard.
Right.
It really is. I mean, granted, a lot of opportunities don't always come right to you, and you have to go get them. And that was what Mom did for us. She brought us to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And that was tough because we moved here on a Greyhound bus.
Yeah, we did.
We left everything in Colorado.
Yeah.
Everything. So many things got left. My mom wanted a better future for us, and the opportunity was here.
Yeah.
And she left everything. So.
Yeah. We're unfortunately near the end here. So to conclude this episode, at the end of every episode we do of the podcast, I want to have something for our listeners, a message of hope for our listeners, and a nugget of what they can do today as it pertains to what we discussed. So I have 3 questions, and we'll both answer these.
Okay.
So the first one is, so if you had the opportunity to tell a child that is going through the same struggles as we did, abusive, chaotic life, who has no idea what to do, if you had that opportunity to tell them something, what would you tell them?
Oh man. I think I would tell them not to give up hope. To just find out. I know kids, it's hard to discover who they are when they're young. But I would tell them, figure out what you like to do and try to stay positive and focus on that thing, whatever it may be. I know as kids we kind of change what we want to do, but start to think about your future and start to think, oh man, I'd really like to do this and do this and do this, and focus on those things. And then if you're really struggling with a family life at home with abusive parents or struggles, try to find friends as much as you can. I know Jim was a huge inspiration for you.
Big time.
So
Well, that entire family.
yeah, that entire family.
They call me a Coehorn by Taxes.
Yeah. So if you can find someone with good grounds to help you, do it. You know, whether it's at school or whether it's in extracurriculars. Extracurriculars was my thing. I did track wrestling and cross country, and I had friends along the way that helped me through that route. So definitely made it easier.
Yeah, and I was gonna, because you brought up the Coehorns, you brought up that entire family. They treat me like family.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough to find them through faith.
Yeah.
And we had talked a little bit about how God's interwoven life. It's just like go in and out of our life and through the struggles that we have. And they taught me more of them showing Christ to me, and the way that they were taught me more about family than what we knew.
Yeah.
And I would say our faith in Christ and in God taught us what it means to be a family.
Without a doubt.
Because now it doesn't matter if we're blood or not, we're taught to love.
Yep.
And we teach to love.
Yep.
And that's huge.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because we didn't think about that growing up.
No.
And if I had a young man or a young woman in that situation that's going through that, I would tell them, try and find someone who can do that for you.
Yeah.
And be
Absolutely.
careful. But if you can find like a family specifically, I always encourage family in Christ. If you can find that, there will always be someone there who wants to love you, and that's especially in a world of where depression's at its ultimate high right now.
Yeah.
There, people need to hear that.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but there is a lot of loving, caring people out there that are
Yeah.
willing to help. There really, really is.
And sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle,
It does.
especially when we get depressed about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I've told myself horrible things before I've gone to bed in the past.
Mhm.
And the more I do that, the more I ignore all the wonderful things that have been put in front of me.
Yeah.
The people that have been given to me.
Yeah,
So-
no, yeah, that's definitely a struggle for all of us. I don't think anyone out there goes just, yep, I have a great life every day.
No.
We're all human. We all make mistakes. But yeah, definitely, we definitely need to love each other so much more. So
Right.
no matter what. So
My next question, this one is probably more towards you because I don't have kids.
okay.
But, well, I will still have an answer for this though. What about parents that may have done things like this in the past and now regret it, or maybe even more things? But I've met fathers that have put themselves in that situation. They feel horrible because they miss so much of the life of their child.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to tell them something, what would you say?
I think I would tell them. This one's kind of tough because like I have never met someone like this. So, but I think I would tell them to try to reconnect and try to forgive yourself first for the mistakes that you made. Because if you continue to hold on to those, you'll never grow.
Right.
That's kind of the anchor holding you back from growing. I would definitely say forgive yourself for one, and then ask for forgiveness for the family members that you have affected. Those are the two things I would definitely say, because if you can forgive yourself, you let the anchor go that holds you back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you can grow from that. Whether they choose to accept you back into their lives or not, you have set yourself free from the past.
Right.
And you can grow and move forward and hopefully create a positive future forward with or without the forgiveness from the family. Maybe you can have an impact on someone else's family if they choose not to. In some other way, whatever you want to do. So that would be what I would say.
I always come with where I'm at as far as it pertains to our relationship with our dad.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we grew up the way we did, but there's still that part of me that longs to see him.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only kid on planet Earth that feels that way.
Right.
And there are probably a lot of fathers that are feeling sorry, or mothers that didn't get to see their
Yep,
child.
or
Horrible for who they are.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think that most kids, even in those situations, unless you completely burned that bridge,
Yeah.
long to see you.
Yeah, I would agree. As a parent, I'm always going to want to be with my kids.
Right,
So I agree.
right. And I would poise the idea that there's still hope, because
Absolutely.
I can't tell them how to pursue it.
Yeah.
Because every relationship is different.
Yeah.
But I would pose the idea that there's still hope.
Absolutely.
And the final question that to close the episode is, what do you think, regardless if it's a parent, child, what step would we take today to help improve in those situations? What can we do today to build what could potentially become the future, whether it's family, whether it's the situation we're in, how can we improve our day, just a day, in the hardship that they're facing?
That's a tough one. I would say, so like, if I'm going to go from the father point of view, because that's the best point of view
Right.
I've got. So, I would say if you're a father right now and you're trying to improve your day, love your children. I
Right.
mean, and look, if you're married, love your wife. Um, uh, because those relationships are so important. You affect them whether you feel it or not. Everything you say, your kids take in. It may not sound like it, but my daughter has surprised me with what you said. I know every parent has heard that, but you said.
I know what I said.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, definitely empower your children and come from a place of love. I know as parents we have to discipline our children, and discipline is extremely important because you don't want them living a free life doing whatever they want, because that leads to chaos. Definitely encourage you though to empower them to love and to walk in peace and to just be good people, but definitely love them and make sure you know your kids are loved, and that if you are married, love your significant other, because you don't know what they're going through. Sometimes they don't say what they're suffering from. And now, me and my wife, we've been together a long, long time, so we know our signals. Right. I know when something's wrong. If she chooses not to say something, I know there's something wrong. I better go talk to her.
Especially when she says it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, nope, it's not fine. I need to go sit and talk. So, just always encourage them, always love them, always have compassion. I disagree with a lot of people, as you know, Jerome, on a lot of topics, but I'm always compassionate.
What?
I always try to understand. I know there's things I have not gone through that other people have gone through.
Yeah.
So try to understand as much as you can what they're feeling, so that you can be strong for them as a father and a husband. So that's what I would say.
My big one, and this is something that I've had to learn over the past 6 years, because I went through a lot of depression, and I would say that depression is connected to a lot of our past, because all those things, it's like a spinning wheel. But I would say the big thing that I would encourage anyone not to do is to not lock it. Well, encourage them to do is don't lock yourself away.
Yeah.
Because I've done it, where I've gone silent. I have plenty of friends and family that if anyone had that conversation with me, that would tell you, we haven't seen him in weeks or days. We haven't heard from him in a long time. And sometimes that's working a ton, and I just get overbearing with just all my responsibilities and how I'm managing them, all the poor decisions I'm doing, and all this stuff like that. I would always say don't lock yourself away, because even just having one conversation with a friend or a family, just spending time with them, just covers a whole multitude of things that hurt.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just 5 minutes wrestling with your son.
I try not to wrestle him anymore.
I still do.
He's getting
strong.
He's getting strong for a 12-year-old.
And he's taller.
Yeah, he's getting taller and stronger, so I'm getting scared.
But even that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I forget everything.
Yeah.
Because all I'm doing is wrestling with him.
Yeah.
It's huge. So that would be my encouraging thing. So I want to thank you for coming today, and plan to do more in the future. We have a lot of things in the future to expect.
Yeah, I definitely say so. This has actually been really a huge enjoyment for me. Yeah. So this is awesome.
I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we have, and we will see you next time.